This is a very, very important translation of the video I have not done yet. The video is 24 minutes long, but I'm going to give you a brief description of my meeting with the father on July 10, 2025, when I met him at home for elderly people. After considerable amount of time, throughout which, however, I did investigate thoroughly more about the circumstances of his MK Ultra whereabouts, where he found himself more often than not practically hospitalized at home for elderly people. You're going to hear me translating you the audio from the video that you see right there, for which it becomes evident that I want my father to come home as soon as possible. I have no intention to leave him behind. Absolutely no intention leaving him behind. A total contrast of what my father have done for me after he eventually even hospitalized me with the Slovenian police, state prosecutors. This individual, this criminal, his name is Boštjan Poklukar, Minister of Interior, was involved in this extermination procedure throughout MK Ultra. Is very familiarized with the stuff I'm talking about. You can see him proudly boasting about some completely insane stuff, because what he does is he goes around and he is bullying, he is harassing whatever of targeted population, I don't know, for the rest of Slovenia, is left. I know for myself, he is trying to harass, bully, literally. This is what they have as a tool, as their ultimate tool, is to harass, to bully, basically to follow up. In my case, to follow up on MK Ultra torture through ambulance sirens, basically creating tensions all the time. This is what they do. And of course, based on MK Ultra scenario, I do owe you a video about the maintenance of the father's car, Volkswagen Polo also. All kinds of crimes they continue to enforce that goes pretty much based on whatever they promised me the case is going to be during an MK Ultra brainwashing. You can see him right here. Eventually you can, it concerns this issue because on this day here, when I stopped at the father, it was actually July 10, not July 11, just as it's titled in timestamp camera. I did explain father the background, the why he is inside in there, who got him in there, how difficult it is to actually get him out of the home for elderly people, how difficult it is actually to get the law enforcement police to intervene with Slovenian police, with so-called Slovenian state. If you want to call them authorities, I think it's a bunch of, I don't actually have the words for these animals, so to say, it's extremely difficult. It's making my things totally impossible. It appears to me that people from United Nations, US Justice Department of State, European Union Commissioner do not understand precisely what exactly means to go to the police station, complain about MK Ultra, and find yourself same day for submitting a complaint at the psychiatric hospital, as it was in my case, psychiatric hospital Ljubljana Polje. That's what happened to me when I stopped at the police station on October the 30th, 2025, with extremely legitimate procedure, good reasons to complain against local police, and people can see basically what happens when you go to complain about the genocide, about extermination procedure, which local police station continues to enforce freely, free-handedly, on behalf of people like this guy here, who works for Milan Kučan, for Borut Pahor, for the Slovenia. I see here that this outlet here, the so-called Slovenske novice, they praise Robert Golob. They say that Robert Golob has the highest support ever since October of 2023. He's doing excellent. For this guy, if you put down his name here, you can see that he had interpellation. He survived one. Everything for these people is wonderful. Everything for these people is just working extremely fine. Why do we do this kind of stuff? Let's do it like this 24 hours. Not doing correctly stuff here. There was an interpellation. I don't know how do you translate this. I suppose interpellation, right? It's a little bit morning hour and I didn't get sleep, and so let's do it like this. Second interpellation. There you go. 33 deputies voters for the no confidence motion, 45 against. Not that I would give a three fuck about what Slovenes vote for. I don't really care what they vote for. And I don't really care about what Slovenian people do. Slovenia is a country from Slovenian people. I understand it says here that even the IDs from healthcare, they're only valid, the new IDs, they only will be valid for the 10 years, they say. And it will be a lot of stuff. Actually, there is a lot of stuff. There will be more and more and more, a lot of stuff like this, because they have to adjust the attitude to be in line with expectations of what used to be Yugoslavia if they want to merge back with Serbia. The thing is, I don't give a care. I don't care what they do. This is not my country, and these are not my people. This is not my nation, to put it plain and simple. I'm in it completely by myself. I was in it completely by myself throughout my entire life. I have not faced other than traitors. Dearly I paid my life in Slovenia. Since my earliest childhood, they were using me like a mojo so they could play with the Western politicians war through me. They were using me like a voodoo doll from both sides, basically. Dearly I paid my life here. I don't see myself in Slovenia in absolutely any way. I am, however, unwilling to immigrate from here. I'll prefer to see Slovenian people immigrate from here. How about that? When you declare extermination, genocide on a native individual with a political agenda on your mind, then it's time for you to pack your stuff and go. And this regardless of how many of you. To every fucking one of you. This is the way it is. You don't have the right. When you declare as a persona non grata your own native individual, this is time, guys, for you to pack and go. I am not going to go from here. I will be killed. I will die here. Whatever the case might be, I will never go from here. Ever. That's one of the things we got to understand each other. That's just never going to happen. If anybody counts about that, if there was manipulation, I'm going to immigrate to United States and Britain and I don't know what, that ain't going to fucking happen. That's the news for you today. The characteristics of the new Slovenia, something I did not mention to my father, but it's something, I don't know, click that button right there by mistake. The nature of my visit to the father was to explain to him why is he inside in there. Why is he inside of the home for elderly people? This is political video. However, it's extremely important for me that father knows that he's not being left behind, that I'm working on it, and it's not because of me that he doesn't come home. I want him to understand at this point that his home is right here where I'm at right now. It's Krka Ena, Novo mesto. That this is his home. I do exactly the opposite of what he had done with me when he threw me into a psychiatric hospital in 2012. But I will be really careful with saying what he had done with me, because yes, he had done with me, and he would not even move the finger for me. He didn't even move the finger. What he did is he followed thoroughly the instructions. The elderly man like this followed the instructions word by word. Wherever the state prosecutor took him into his ear, went to the police station and did exactly whatever the police demanded from him to do. Word by word he went and he did exactly, filing lies against me, based on which I was simply thrown into psychiatric hospital at 38 years of age, after 38 years of torture. With really nothing to live for, all I was doing is searching for the way to communicate with the United Nations, European Union Commissioner, to obtain some form of assistance, something in respect to completely impossible world of forced joblessness. I found myself. That's why I left the United States of America in 2006, just as I explained. That was already 6 bloody years. I spent money, time, searching for the place I could stay and get some form of employment and continue with my life, to have at least something out of life. They would not let me be. And then father went ahead and with the mother and with the sister and with my niece cooked me lengthy psychiatric hospitalization at age 38, after 38 years of torture in which he was deeply involved in it. Now, if I will be talking like this, for sure I'm not going to bring my father at home, because they are eager to get rid of him. And his stupidity yielded him real problems. Already they started to cause him trouble, even increase after I was thrown into the psychiatric hospital. The next one who found himself in a trouble again was my father, whom police have delivered me to in 2012, 2013. All of a sudden I find myself right at this stream here, exactly as you see here.
Posiljuješ za kavo. Da imaš dom svoj, da imaš hišo tam pri Krki.
And I don't know what my father, he is acting like really weird. He can observe my mom, he's completely aware about what's going on, yet he is pretending like he doesn't understand absolutely anything. He's scared. And I will get to this issue. Because it was ŠTEFANIČ, the funny man, the ŠTEFANIČ, funny boy, this guy here, the funny boy from police station, who talked to my father right in front of me, therefore was talking to me and my father, that he will be deciding together with the Miran Sudin, with the state prosecutors from Ljubljana, that they will be establishing about who is guilty for my psychiatric hospitalization, who is guilty for extermination procedure, ladies and gentlemen, who is guilty. The Slovenian state took absolutely no responsibility. What they wanted from me and my father is for me and my father to go and kill one another. They took absolutely no responsibility for it. What they demanded from us, and this is the way they behaved in front of us, was they demanded from me to go after the father and from father to go after me. suggested my father in front of me. This guy was involved in this stuff, that they will be yet with Milan Kuchan, with Robert Golod. This is what they were doing. They were always positioning themselves during MK Ultra in a role of judges, like ultimate judges. Like we're gonna have a game on life and death, and we will be deciding about who is what is, etc., etc. Who will say what will say, and so on. Who did what did. If you will not visit the father, if you will visit the father, if father will this, we're gonna see who is making problem and this and that. This is what these people are doing, and they insisted to my father that based on my conduct, be compared with his conduct when I was thrown into the psychiatric hospital. These people are animals, simply animals. These are not even animals would be capable to do the stuff like this. The one capable to do the stuff like this and completely indifferent from the animals, just as vicious as animals, are the people that you see here. The guy that you see here, which I'm going to get back to him. When they brought me to the father in 2012, 2013, I did not hold back. They delivered me again to the father for me to feel sorry for him. And at that point in time, I told him, basically he put the words in my mouth by saying to me that he understood, that he started to curse me out, something that he's not welcome back home and stuff like this. And I did go off and I told him, for throwing me into the psychiatric hospital, I mean, I didn't feel like giving any kind of encouragement for the lies that he triggered against me on behalf of the psychiatrists and these people right here, who afterwards dumped him again into the home for elderly people, where my father was already tortured since 1998, 1997. Since 1998, they started to torture him inside of the home for elderly people. They started to hospitalize him. It started with a joke, and the joke became his horror. He got to know that home for elderly people way too often for the purposes of what was preparing me for the future meeting with the father, for which they anticipated there would be fight between me and father, based on which I would be hospitalized, arrested, that kind of stuff. That did not happen. This time, however, on July the 10th, 2025, without my even thinking about this stuff, however, it did happen exactly to this place. Exactly this place here. You see the stream right there? I'm going to play you a video. I was the one in situation meeting my father instead. And so when I came, I wanted to understand father that I did not abandon him, that I'm working best to my abilities to get him home as fast as possible. For me, it's completely inhumane for my father to be inside of the home for elderly people, one way or the other. Even if he only had to come home to die, he had the right to die in his bed in his house. It is just as simple as this. Situation with my father is dire, based on what you're going to hear here between him and me as the two of us exchange. It becomes evident that man is at least acting completely demented. And a second thing is, right here you can actually even hear the last news that I posted. My father complaining about being dehydrated. This is the Slovenian video from July the 14th, 2025. Sorry, and this is also a mistake. This is also mistaken. No, this is not from July the 14th. I don't understand why this shit is titled. Maybe I post this on July the 14th, that's why. But this is video from July the 13th.
Kaj praviš, da bo?
Right here, it's a video. I am going to play you that too. Father complains about being dehydrated. Dehydration, especially in the summertime, is the main cause of death of the older people. And the second thing also that I have to say, the medications, those are the sleeping medications, tranquilizers that he's getting, clearly have a very powerful effect on my father, because the saliva is running out of his mouth. That means he's entering in the stage of the most serious problems with the kidneys and with the liver. The type of problems I had when they started to fill me up with the psychiatric medications at Psychiatric Hospital Ljubljana Polje. So this is why I completed a lot of tasks, also a lot of investigation in respect to my father. Now it's time to finish this stuff in respect to my father. It's time to pay him more visitations. It's time to dedicate him more time, more attention. And that means, of course, exercise maximum pressure on international authorities, because of whom I am in this situation together with my father. My father was in extremely good situation. Even after I arrived back from Poland in 2000, just prior to hospitalization, the two of us went for a walk. And then it went all downhill, exactly based on MK Ultra scenario, with father committing total stupidity too, with an individual that transported him to the house, to the Novo mesto city, to the center of the city. Police meeting one at that house, me searching for the father all over the place. Completely crazy stuff he did, deliberately so, based on MK Ultra. This is what police required, basically. My father did enormously a lot of stupid shit, but all this shit follows directly here. Not only to Ljubljana. There is a page, in fact, this newspaper, I always use the same newspaper. They have reserved for these people that I used to remind myself of why this situation. My mother, police, Robert Golob, it's not a police, this garbage here, scum filled, supported by Interpol, supported by French Interpol, supported by United Nations, Antonio Guterres, supported by Ursula von der Leyen, European Union Commissioner, supported by American US Justice Department of State, Civil Rights Division, therefore Federal Bureau Investigation, demanded from me to spend for the father at least 15 hours a week. That's why I stopped by this place here. There is absolutely no doubt about it that just as I suggested and also described, their share of crime in respect to my father, that these people are very deeply implicated in this stuff. They want me to pay attention to them? I don't think so. They probably prefer me to write stuff about the father. So they're using a father as a hostage. When I say they, I'm talking about the Slovenian police. This is the minister that, I'm not going to say, somehow managed to survive interpellation. After all, just as I stated, this is Slovenia. Once I'm done with the father, I will come back to, this stuff was published on June the 27th of 2025, that's about 2 weeks ago, more than 2 weeks ago. It's very important because this article also was involved in this article also was involved in his brainwash. Boštjan Poklukar together with Nataša Pirc Musar. This is what Janez Janša elected, yeah. This is what Peterle, Janez Janša, Dmitry Rupel, all this Aleš Hojs, the so-called right-wing government, as Slovenes refer to one as, told me that if I will be talking about them, the only thing that's going to happen is all the threats, basically all the violence that the so-called leftists engaged in and threatened with will come through by them simply stepping down. And then the only thing that's going to happen is, this is what Janša, this is what this stuff was about with the Hoys. The only thing that would happen is then it would be this that would pop up in the picture, and then it would be like, well, like a magic box you open, and then everything starts to untwist itself. Everything starts to go wrong, basically, is what they try to say to me. They only lasted 2 years, and this is the so-called Slovenian government since 2022. With this guy here, he referred himself as a leftist. You can see the red star over there, left. It says left. Yeah, they basically elected for themselves what would be views as the leftists. They have even better than that. They have so this is for the work and for the work and for the social matters. This is the minister that you see here, and then they have another one and another one and another one. This is more left than I think even Janez Janša had his government, and so Janez Janša I don't have to declare anymore. I think that Milan Kučan never ever would exist without him. On the first place, it was thanks to Janez Janša, but also Lojze Peterle, all these so-called Slovenian pro-independence people, including the Pučnik, including the Jožef Pučnik, that Milan Kučan became the first Slovenian president. I have the information about the Jožef Pučnik too, that he made sure that he would remind me of that stuff. The thing is, this is a Slovenian thing. I don't care about it, but I do care about the way this country is running its social matters, their affairs. I care about this type of approach toward me as a native. I did not move here from Serbia. I did not move here from any other country. My ancestry is from here, just as much as any of these people, and most likely even more so. And so I don't see how what started when I was 3 months of age has the right to continue with Slovenia participating inside of NATO, inside of European Union, etc., inside of the United Nations. I don't agree to that stuff. When you start to ethnically cleanse your own people, Milan Kučan suggested it's going to be the same like in Yugoslavia, except that you're not going to have opportunity to complain to anybody against us, because it's going to be done by your own people. I don't see that as legal, that kind of stuff. and I'm going to go down with Antonio Guterres, with Ursula von der Leyen, with the people with whom Tanya Fayon, also a devoted leftist, if you like. I don't understand what is this social democrats. I don't understand any of that stuff. What these people would have with the social democrats, I don't understand. These are all the people that were in ex-Yugoslav Communist Party. Now, I don't have anything against the communism. This is not my problem, the communism. This is whatever people select, it's their problem. The Chinese Communist Party is not killing Chinese people in China because they would be Chinese. That is just clearly that this is not about the communists. This is about this, as communist as in Russia, the Russian party was communist when they were destroying minorities through their communist ideals, just in exactly the same fashion, in exactly the same way. Just as the Serbs launched war at the same time against Slovenes, against the Kosovo people, Bosnian people, Croatian people, started to ethnically cleanse, kill as much as they possibly could, so they would have the Lebanon around, and they did this under the Communist Party. I don't see this, this is just, I don't know, like drunk people or something like that. I don't even understand. Janez Janša is making sure that Chinese that come to Slovenia have absolutely no partner to talk to. In Germany, in Britain, it's British royals that accommodate Chinese. In Germany, it's a German government that does its best to accommodate Chinese. The same thing is France, everywhere else, but in Slovenia we have Janez Janša, so that he is creating a panic, attacking Chinese as much as he possibly can. Violence was unprecedented, in which they also involved Chinese, but I would not exclude that it was that other side and only the so-called Slovenian communist side that supported the type of violence. Because they were searching for the proofs that were of no fucking use. Anything that American Central Intelligence Agency Federal Bureau was capable to video record, obtain the proofs. They don't really give a fuck. They were using this residence, this house here, for meeting with one another. If along the way you give something to Slovenian side so they can collect, which is absolutely of no use, not to them and not to us, in that case, that's fine, because I was thrown into the psychiatric hospital. People that walk inside of the psychiatric hospital, their life expectancy is reduced for about 50% due to psychiatric medications. Psychiatric medications are designed basically to cripple you. And not only to lobotomize you, but to destroy your liver, your kidney, and reduce life expectancy on half. It is just as simple. I want to make sure, contrary, just as I stated, whatever happened here at this place with my father in 2012, whatever the police was using him, and they continue to use him, If you're not going to report father at least 15 hours a week, if you're not going to spend, the father is going to be killed. This was the promise from these people here. So, being a blogger, doing a blog, and I am investigator, I am investigating what is practically prohibited from being allowed to even think. That's extermination procedure through MK Ultra. That's what I'm investigating. That takes a battalion of the people to get it done. And I'm doing this stuff by myself. So, is my father a hostage of these people here from Ljubljana? Yes, it is. My father is definitely a police hostage. He's definitely a hostage of Slovenian Ministry of Interior. He's definitely hostage of Milan Kučan. He is definitely hostage of these people here. And he is definitely hostage of Donald Trump, that also did not like him. He is definitely hostage of American politicians. Joe Biden hated him. He became a hostage of the people that thoroughly used him best of their abilities in war against me. And I had an extremely difficult job to finish. This is the hardest job in the world. I don't know anything more crazy, harder job than the job I do. I don't know about anything like this in the world. I can possibly not imagine somebody will be doing this kind of job. I know there are difficult jobs out there, but this is insane. So this is basically what my father is used for, with what police continues to believe. It's going to be, at one point in time, it's just going to be, that's at least what they anticipated it's going to be. It's going to yield them a results. In the Slovenia, I guess it's going to be free, liberated. I will get back to this article. The first thing that I want to do is, I want to go and translate this video here, my visit to the father, which dates to July 11, 2025. Let's do this one here first. It's a very difficult video for me to make. This is a very difficult video because I recall what went on in 2012, 2013 also, when they delivered me to the father during the psychiatric hospitalization. It's a very, very difficult video because I cannot understand what kind of animals these people here are. How can you do this to the father and son? How can you deliver the son that you just threw into the psychiatric hospital, Ljubljana Polje, to the father whom you have used to file lies against one, and all this stuff during MK Ultra procedure, basically to anger me even more. I told my father that I don't want to have nothing to do with him. I told him all kinds of stuff when they delivered me from psychiatric hospital to him, that completely stunned. I saw them, emotional police officers. These are not police officers. These are animals. There's no police officers here. These are the people who did this stuff. Let's not forget, these are the people who did this stuff. They acted stunned. They acted stricken. They acted hurt when they saw this kind of stuff. But, you know, what can you possibly expect other from animals like this? They are the one, they created this stuff, and so they faked. They love to play with emotions. They like to pretend themselves to be emotional about it and partake in it, so they would increase this tragedy. For them, killing people is just a joy, a pleasure, something I found during the torture procedures these people immensely enjoyed. Including with Americans, such as Merrick Garland. I would say that he's extremely sick person. And so is Donald Trump. I found that the people that were gathering inside his home, and that included Barack Obama, all these politicians, were extremely sick people. I found these people to be enjoying this kind of stuff, enjoying to cause more pain, more harm, more injury, and they always find a way, oh, we're going to help you if you're going to do this, if you're going to do that. The thing is that somehow Slovenian side continued to win. And win and win and win. It's like Donald Trump said, with me, you're going to win, and you're going to win, and it's going to be win and win and win and win and win. And the way Donald Trump learned to win through me, with Joe Biden, with Barack Obama, with all these politicians, this is not how the real life is. That's why America is not of a big winner these days, I would say. At least not in international field of affairs, I would say. This was just 2 days ago.
Kaj praviš, da bo? Kaj praviš, da bo bilo?
This is just the camera I'm trying to fix.
No, da te vidim. Kaj praviš, da bo nevihta? Nevihta bo, ja.
And I'm talking to the father. Father knows that I'm recording this stuff. He knows that I'm recording this stuff. As well as man, I'm going to start here with July the 13th. That's fine. It's the same thing. It's about the storm that's going to come up. I asked him if he is thirsty. If he is thirsty, he wants to drink something. And he started to move his head up. I said, do they keep you thirsty? Huh? Are you dehydrated? How are you doing with this? He says, I was already very, very thirsty. So that means they don't give him the water. They do not hydrate him. And that probably explains also why the saliva is running out of his mouth. Why is he so wet? Completely fucked up, basically.
Si že bil žajen, se pravi, da si bil dehidriran pol, da te niso hidrirali pa to.
So he says that he was quite a lot actually dehydrated, which is clearly not a good stuff. This is how the elderly people inside of the hospitals, inside of the homes for elderly are killed, folks. If you have relatives, if you care for your relatives, already giving a person to drink, to hydrate him properly, helps person to even stand up from death. Usually people get in a very bad situation, physical situation, because of the dehydration issues. None more than in Slovenia. The temperatures in Slovenia are very hot now. You can see between 25 to 30 degrees Celsius. So, very hot temperatures, keeping the elderly person thirsty, dehydrated is not the way to go.
Dobro da ti meni poveš.
I say to him, it's good that you tell me about that stuff.
Ti meni poveš, da si dehidrirajo. To je tisto najbolj pomembno, ker tako te uničijo. To je tista ta glavna stvar. A tako. A tako to. Tako delajo pa to.
So that's a good thing that he told me about that stuff.
Rekelca? Ne. Pa tebe...
He is talking about MK Ultra right now. The next video that I created was from 3 days earlier when I met the father. That's a longer one I'm gonna do. And exactly contrary to what went on here with him in 2012, 2013, I explained the father that I want him home, unconditionally want him home. I talked to him about these things, that I did not forget him. I'm gonna get to that video. The first thing is first, the stuff here that you hear me talking about the father dehydrated and so on, I'm going to repeat this stuff to you. This portion of it is going to be translated one more time. Let's go back here to July 10, 2025, and let's start with this one here.
Brez skrbi. So ti povedali zdravniki, da tega ne deli. Povedali so ti zdravniki, da ga ne posiljuj za kavo.
I already talked about mother's coffee. giving father any kind of drink is strongly, strongly, strongly discouraged by the physicians because, as they claimed me, and I never gave the father to drink. Only once, twice I gave the father with a spoon, little by little, to drink a juice with the water. It's very dangerous that he doesn't swallow the whole thing and he can get choked like that. That's one thing. But the second thing is, because he's getting food through the tube, he's fed through the feeding tube straight into the stomach. The coffee is the type of liquid that is cancerous liquid, with what is very necessary for the intestines is for the body to have, and the salad and green and proteins and stuff like this. Father is not getting any. He's getting on through the intestines. My mother only loads him with the coffee. Coffee, 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 coffee. We already have spoken about this stuff. My mother is allowed to do this stuff. Everybody gets to see this stuff. They continue to treat me like a mentally ill person at home for elderly people. In fact, yesterday I spoke with one individual who was involved in MK Ultra, and I recall the whole session. I deliberately went with him to the receptionist, and I asked him about something, about how this man could possibly also move, do some exercise in some other area of the building also, that if they could explain him. The lady, the receptionist, was simply horrified because he's not supposed to go out on the street. They don't want him to wander away. That's what they claim, even that the gentleman doesn't have a place to go to. But still, I figure out that's probably the right thing to do. But the way the receptionist treated me, she did not explain to me any of these issues till the mother came. And then she explained to the mother in front of me this kind of stuff, like I am crazy or something like that. So she loads him with a coffee. Probably upstairs also are biscuits. I am not coming up there, and the mother is basically finishing my father, just like this.
This I will video record. This is what they gave as this is what they are playing with.
This is a big gig that was involved during MK Ultra. This is a big gig from Nurse Janko. He loved this kind of stuff during MK Ultra. He played with. This was one of his favorite things. Still the same wheelchair without all the people they have inside of the home for elderly people. They would not take care of this. The same wheelchair for the last 30 years. Not really the 30 years. They did change the wheelchairs at one point in time. I should also recall that kind of stuff. Not too far from 30 years, I would say, either. Maybe in 2000, something like that. I don't know.
This kind of stuff.
So this handle keeps coming down and is the same as with the other one.
So it turns out and it goes out. This is what they're...
What they would like me probably is to apply some super glue on it, and that's just something that's not gonna happen.
Doing, and the same shit is here, the same thing. Like they don't have the fucking normal wheelchair or fix this stuff once and for all. They prefer this way. This is a nurse Janko, this is a nurse with extra kilos, who even gun threatened me.
They did took father during father is torture at home for elderly people. They were taking him out. And the police, when the father was dumped into home for elderly, the police literally gave me a ratings on how they're gonna see me as a worthy son or a shit son, depending on how far I'm gonna make it with the father. On how far I will make it with the father. So this is a home for elderly people here. The furthest they suggested me that I will make it, possibly would be up to here, and if I would make it up to here, that this would be totally out of this world, incredible, etc., etc., etc. It's about 2 kilometers both ways, with literally even talking to me about the new bridge before the bridge was built, and bridge was just completed, I don't know when, last year or whatever they completed the bridge, yet they knew about these coming projects. As the type of people we're talking about, obviously this garbage here, they do know absolutely about the coming projects. Whatever project is going to appear in the future, whatever public project, these people know absolutely everything about it. It's also important, and I did not mention anywhere, a nurse with extra kilos. I am going to dedicate that separate video because this is not okay stuff. Sorry, I am even at the wrong place here. The home for elderly is here. This is the home for elderly, it's here. This is the home for elderly, it's here. 1.5 kilometers, that would be basically 3 kilometers both ways. This is the home for elderly people. Home for elderly people is here. The nurse with the extra kilos, the one that did not want me to record, was very, very sensitive to this issue. That guy was just simply incredible. He repeatedly threatened right here at the entrance of the home for elderly people, if he ever would get arrested, if it would come that he would have to go handcuffed out of the home. He promised me that he would attack me and he would go out of the home for elderly people. The best about this guy is that police, Novo Mesto police, these guys here, did give that guy guns. On the floor at home for elderly people, the nursing staff during MK Ultra was armed with revolvers. And during MK Ultra, this nurse here did gun threaten me. He did gun threaten me. He did threaten me that if I would have a problem, if they would have a problem, not only they have the ability to use the force, but also weapons such as gun. And he demonstrated me the gun, not on one occasion, but on the several occasions in a police presence. So this is the home for elderly people in the Novo Mesto city. He will explain everything about the stuff that went on.
He claimed he even has a gun. They would give him a gun in his department and stuff like this. Не спомняш ли ти това?
So, what would be considered as a trespassing to the father if I would decide to go past the reception against the rules that were issued to me, potentially could also result in a use of gun, arms against me on the floor where my father is. Don't say that I don't have the proofs. The proofs are already laid out. I explained everything about what went on during MK Ultra, and there is absolutely no reason for me not to assume such thing as realistic possibility. Nobody is a nurse. You don't have the right to hijack people, traffic people, engage in torture of the people, and even gun threaten them with the use of gun if they would somehow manage up there, and I don't know, if they would confront you or whatever the case would be. You don't have that kind of jurisdiction.
Да ти се мене не спомниш да имаш сина, Boštjana. Se ne spomniš? Ne. Aha.
So the father said that he doesn't remember that he has a son. So I'm with him here. Nobody takes him next to the river.
Pa so tebe dobro spravili možgane. Pa si ti čist gotov, če ti ne veš, da imaš sina, da imaš Boštjana sina in tako naprej, pa to pomeni, da so tebe sfukali dobro.
He says that he doesn't know he has a son.
Ti imaš hišo, tu veš, da imaš hišo.
I ask him, you have a house. I tell him, you have a house. Do you know you have a house?
Ne veš,
He says he doesn't know that he has a house. He doesn't know that this house is his house.
da imaš hišo.
Why am I doing this kind of stuff? What exactly am I doing this kind of stuff? Well, I noticed during MK Ultra that my father was very, 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 very intimidated by my mother. I noticed that my father was even afraid. I noticed that police authorized my mother to act like a man, basically demonstrate father that he is a total nobody and nothing inside of his house during MK Ultra. This is the way it was. He was, in other words, mistreated. He was just simply with the assistance of the police. My mother was exercising against the father what clearly was violence. You know, like you would go and you would treat somebody, you would say, let's say it's a husband and wife, and a wife would be, everything that he would do during MK Ultra would be wrong, and he would be punished and would be wrong, and then he would have a police char of the police officers, the psychiatrists, and how they would give the support for this stuff to basically behave, act like the way she expects you and so on. So now that's in front of the police and so on. That's intimidation, very serious intimidation. That's a molestment. That's how my mother saw herself as a complete controller of their house. My mother, according to psychiatrist Peter Kapsch and according to the police officers, told me that my mother is their associate, that I have to be very careful about. Second thing, psychiatrist Kapsch insisted me that inside of the house that he already have the mother is going to be a psychiatrist and the police officer. Yeah, this is the stuff we are talking about. That's why I'm asking him if he knows that he has a son. What I want to establish is that whether he's aware that he's not by himself in this world because of the circumstances I explained. My father was not only mistreated at home during MK Ultra by my mother, but also was in police, but also was mistreated also at home for elderly people, as well as he was mistreated at the hospital. They basically treated him like a shit during MK Ultra, just like that. Just like this. Like basically whatever he was trying to have it his way, he could possibly not have it his way. In some way this was the correct way, because this is a behavioral my father had a behavioral problem. However, this problem was developed. Let me repeat you again, by Slovenian police. This problem was developed by the Slovenian psychiatrists. This problem was developed by Slovenian prosecutors, by the Slovenian justice system, even judges from Novo Mesto Regional Court. So how the fuck is the guy like this not going to have a fucking problem if they put in his head that he will have the ability to see who is trying to hurt him, which one of the family members is trying to hurt him, and encourage him into the stuff. How the hell is the guy like this not going to have behavioral problems when they are teaching you that there's a family member that is trying to get you killed and I don't know what? And are they using him as an excuse to throw you into the hospital, promise you death and stuff like this if you don't get rid of him on time and so on? That's why I don't blame my father for this stuff. You understand what I'm trying to say? I mean, he was just tool in the hands of people that when it was convenient for them to use him for one thing, they were using him for one thing. When it was important for them to prove the opposite, it wasn't even a difficult thing to prove the opposite. And boy, he paid the price for it. So I am trying to establish that he understands that he is not by himself, that he has a son, that it's not only the wife that is coming to see him. I am trying to make sure that he understands that he has a house, that he has a home waiting on him to return back, where he can go fishing, live with me, have life. And I am also trying to establish for him to understand that I'm doing everything possible to get him home from Home for Elderly People. Basically, hold accountable the people that got him inside in there, which are the people with whom he associated with during MK Ultra. These are the people from this police station. These are the things that matter to me, that we establish who did this, because these were the people who guaranteed my father is going to come back, you're going to be fishing, you're going to have a room at Otočec, at the castle. My fucking God, man, they claim him that he's going to have a fucking room here inside of the castle on Otočec. This is the shit that went on. They would also take him, drive him to Otočec. They would not only push him with a wheelchair to those side streets around this Home for Elderly People, but they literally transported him to Otočec like I did only once before they started to do me a trouble. They guarantee him, they guaranteed to my father that it's going to be all good, it's going to be wonderful, and when everything is going to end, Mr. Savo, they call him Mr. Savo. Mr. Savo, when everything is going to end, we will get you the room here at the Otočec, and you will be capable to go fishing here, etc., at this castle here. They completely drove him insane. That is in his best interest that I go and so on. This was a total lunacy. One-way ticket. These animals here.
Da imaš dom svoj, da imaš hišo tam pri Krki. Ne veš.
I keep telling him, do you know that you have a home? Do you know that you have a house right next to the Krka River? Do you know this stuff? And he says, I don't know. He knows.
Nič tu. Aha. Dobro, da ti meni tu poveš.
Why am I doing this kind of stuff? Because when they tried to psychologically break you, and I saw what they were doing with the father, they make sure that you don't even think about the home anymore. Mateja Jerić, director of Home for Elderly People, who was supposedly in Ljubljana, but would visit very often during MK Ultra, Home for Elderly People, where police would also have me tortured. They would torture me, and they would have me visit father. If they would not torture me, they would... I understand it was even time when they had father inside and me. Father on one floor, me on another floor. Even this kind of stuff went on. Or father would come to visit me during the torture. Mateja Jerić went completely insane during MK Ultra and demonstrated me this repeatedly with the police. Threatened. The police would deliver father to this place here for a walking during MK Ultra procedure. Yeah, they did that kind of stuff to gain his trust. This is how they gain his trust. And they compared themselves with me. Would your son do the stuff I do for you? Why is he not doing this kind of stuff? This is not a good son then, etc., etc., etc. This is a place where people go walk around this castle. He went completely ballistic and acted in front of me like a buffoon with unlimited powers, with what will become a complete restriction, disallowing me any kind of future visit of father, eventually allowing me to take father anywhere out of the Home for Elderly People, like I did once only. I had a plan to take him out for a summertime now when it is, to walk, to exercise with him, and as you can see, instead of that, the summertime is being wasted just like this. So it was my mother who demanded from also Mateja Jerić to make sure that my father would never even cross ever the entrance of the house, ever again. And it was not one time I witnessed that kind of attitude, but on multitude occasions. I didn't like that kind of attitude. Now, my mother was break dick girl. She was the girl with a baton in her hands. She was a police officer, extremely violent police officer, that enforced her own rules during MKH with the use of police and psychiatrists, Peter Kapshin, politicians. He talked about, oh, this is the video that is already gone, this one. So what I do is I continue to repeat him, asking him a question if he knows that he has a home and if he knows that he has a son.
Na temu so delali, Lupček, tudi delajo, jaz ti probam pomagati, jaz sem ti povedal takrat, da čas teče in da bo prepozno, jaz sem ti tu govoril, da povej, da dajmo urejevati to, ono, tretjo, ti si na slabem, v zelo slabem položaju tukaj.
I told my father that I told him basically the people that were coming inside of the house during MKH were really bad people, the worst people you possibly can get. And I told him that he's in an extremely bad situation, that time is running out, more than what he believes have time under control, and eventually the time is going to run out from him, and it will be too late. Simple as this. I say to him, don't play with it. They have control over you each day. As each day pass by, they have more and more control over you. The more you delay this stuff, the worse it gets.
In če te ne bom dobil tukaj, bo prepozno bilo.
Jaz sem vedel.
Ja.
A te nisem poznal.
I told my father, if I don't get you out of here, from this home for elderly people on time, it will be all too late. Now he says that he recognized me, that he did not know it was me.
Tako.
So when you don't see one for so long, it's very important to establish that he understands is me, myself, that he understands there is a home. That home is waiting for him to return back home. This is his home. These are the main things for me to establish.
Zdaj me poznaš? Ko me vidiš? Zdaj me poznaš?
Ne poznam te, to menilo. Jaz sem...
Kaj si povej?
Jaz nisem tako mlad, veš.
A ja?
I asked him, do you recognize me now? And he says, no, I don't recognize you. I'm not so young.
Ja,
Kako je to?
kako ti je ime?
Boštjan.
He says, what is your name? And I say, Boštjan is my name.
Od katerega Boštjana?
He says, from who's Boštjan?
Od Savota.
And I say, from the Savo. Savo is the name of my father.
Poznaš Savota ti?
Ne.
Ja.
From me, he says, from me. So he knows I'm talking about him. His name is Savo.
Sam sebe poznam.
He says, I know myself.
A poznaš sam sebe?
Ja.
Pa veš iz kje si ti?
He says, I know myself. I said, so you do know yourself? He says, yes, I do know myself. And I said, do you know where you're from?
Да маш хиша ти своя.
And I say, do you know you have your house?
Да маш дом свой.
Do you know you have your home? He says to me, I don't know.
Не веш ниč.
I don't know anything about that, he says. I say, you don't know anything? Father says that they brainwashed him. They absolutely did brainwash him, just as I explained. This is what this is. They're making their presence, and they increase their presence, just as I described, to such a degree that I'm practically not allowed to visit my father. The only time I'm allowed to visit my father is during the morning hours between 8 and 10 o'clock in the morning, when my mother is there, and that is basically outside of the home for elderly people or at the main entrance at the main lobby area. So what they do is they increased from 24 hours, they make the reservation for 22 hours for their own brainwash, basically through the presence. Making themselves present, he doesn't get basically in a contact with me, with the ability, any kind of basically total control. It's a normal stuff. And Father is talking about the brainwash, yeah?
Si može stukati u pravne možgane. Dobro da poveš ti.
This is a 4 minute and 11 second. I will go to the beginning, like this, and I'm going to play, because I want to know what kind of conversation is when Father is talking about the brainwash.
Brez skrbi. So ti povedali zdravniki, da tega ne delaj. Povedali so ti zdravniki, da ga ne posiljuj za kavo.
For me is of a paramount importance the word known as brainwash. Pranje možganov. It's of a paramount importance because I practically never used the word with my father in my lifetime.
This I will video record. This is what they gave this is what they are playing with. This kind of stuff, so it turns out and it goes out. This is what they are doing, and the same shit is here, the same thing. Like they don't have the fucking normal wheelchair or fix this stuff once and for all. They prefer this way. This is a nurse Yanko, this is a nurse with extra kilos, who even gun threatened me. He claimed he even has a gun. They would give him a gun in his department and stuff like this.
Не спомняш се ти това? Se pravi, da ti se mene ne spomniš, da imaš sina, Boštjana. Se ne spomniš? Ne. Aha. Pa so tebe dobro spravili možgane.
Okay, I did use the term brainwash.
Pa si ti čist gotov, če ti ne veš, da imaš sina, da imaš Boštjana sina in tako naprej, pa to pomeni, da so tebe sfukali dobro. Ti imaš hišo, tu veš, da imaš hišo? Ne veš?
I tell my father, if you're not aware that you have a son, that you have a home, that you have house, then they did to you the stuff, that's for sure.
Veš, da imaš hišo? Da imaš dom svoj, da imaš hišo tam pri Krki? Ne veš nič tu? Aha. Dobro, da ti meni tu poveš. Na temu so delali, Lupček, tudi delajo, jaz ti probam pomagati, jaz sem ti povedal takrat, da čas teče in da bo prepozno, jaz sem ti tu govoril, da povej, da dajmo urejevati tu ono tretjo, ti si na slabem, v zelo slabem položaju tukaj. In če te ne bom dobil, tukaj bo prepozno bilo.
To nisem vedel.
Ja.
Te nisem poznal.
Kako?
Father understands everything I say to him. That's a very important for me to accept. As I speak to him, I explain to him that he's in a very bad situation here, position. If I don't get him out of here on time, it will be all too late. And he says, of course. He says, I didn't recognize you, he said.
Zdaj me poznaš? Ko me vidiš? Zdaj me poznaš?
Ne poznam te, kaj to menilo, jaz sem...
Kaj si bo?
He is laughing, and that's what I want. I want him to laugh. I want him to get more positive. I want him to little by little gain conscience. Because I wasn't present for so long time, it's very important for me for him to understand that I worked in his case to get him home. And it's very important for me to understand that he feels comfortable with me, that he I know they brainwash. I know that there are different forms of brainwash. The police utilized a very the type of brainwash. It's not very specific. This is mostly how the brainwash is done. From the beginning, you're going to have extreme violence, extreme forms of violence. That's how they do with MK Ultra. That violence will pertain to the physical violence, which police did with me, and the violence also pertained to the poisoning, with increased measures of poisoning. Therefore, they were extremely violent in forms of poisoning and violence at the beginning, psychological, physical violence. Why did they do that stuff? Because at the beginning, individual has a resistance. Therefore, at the beginning, individual is resisting because the individual has mind, brain, mental power, mental health. But as the mental health is decreasing, and as your general health is decreasing, once you inflict the harm, once you inflict the damages, health damages, to cause the same harm of damage, you don't need to use the same amount of poison, you don't need to use the same amount of psychological, physical violence on an individual to intimidate him, etc., etc. Because all this kind of stuff is simply piling up atop of one another. This is how they do that stuff. So what I'm doing here, I'm doing the reversed psychology on the father. What I do is I am trying to remind father little by little that I'm here, that everything is going to be okay, and I am joking with him back and forth if he remembered that he has a son and this and that.
Jaz nisem tako mlad, veš.
A ja?
So little by little he is gaining the conscience.
Ja,
Tako je to.
I know how police is doing this stuff.
Boštjan,
They always do. It's always the same way. That's important for every human being. Every human being out there, remember the words of what I told you. The way they do this stuff, they brain kill you at the beginning. They poison you at the beginning. They poison you more than anything. When they already create a chronic problem, they reduce amount of poison and they reduce amount of physical and mental violence. However, they continue to, not necessary, in my case, they continue to pressure as much as possible. They continue to make noise. However, in most cases, they reduce because simply it's not necessary such a great amount, equal amount of and violence and poisoning to maintain the same level of discomfort, pressure, tensions. This is what this is all about. That's what they build. They build mental illness in one. That's what MK Ultra is. MK Ultra is mental illness, absolutely. Related to the mental illness.
poznaš Sabota ti?
ne.
Ja.
MK Ultra is used to create out of normal people, out of normal human beings, mental patients. That is correct.
Sam sebe poznam.
So I'm playing with him. Do you know Boštjan? Do you know Savo? Do you know this? And so on. I'm asking him, his own name, my name. Here is I'm trying to establish how he feels. Joke a little bit with him.
A poznaš sam sebe?
Ja.
Pa veš iz kje si ti? Da imaš hišo ti svojo. Da imaš dom svoj.
Se ne vem, to pa ne vem.
Ne veš nič.
He says he doesn't know anything about home.
Ti mu že stukati v pravne možgane.
He says they 100 times already brainwashed his brain, so he doesn't know about the home, he doesn't know about the house. That is true. I did spoke to you about the mother.
Stukati v pravne možgane. Dobro da poveš tu. Dobro da poveš.
I said, good that you tell me, good that you explain to me that they brainwash you. I did use the term brainwash earlier.
Ko boš ti mene vedel, ko boš ti mene s policijo tukaj vedel, takrat gremo midva domov. Takrat ti pa jaz gremo domov.
I told Father, when you're going to see me with the police here, this is when it's going to be, when you and I are going to go home. So I'm trying to make him understand that I'm doing my best to my abilities to get the police to this home for elderly people and my father home for elderly people.
Si me slišal? Takrat ti prideš domov in boš in ribe lovil in vse skup z mano.
I say to him, this is when you will come home and you will go fishing with me. We're going to go fishing and so on.
Kdo bo ti bom policijo tukaj, boš vedel, da bomo šli tukaj.
I say to him, I will get you a police here, for sure, and the two of us will go from here, home.
Še te bom dobo živgal tukaj in še boš ribe lovil.
I say to him, I will save you from here alive, and you will go fishing.
Kako ti ime je?
Boštjan,
He asked me what my name is, and I say, Boštjan.
od Sabota. Ko poznaš ti Sabota?
Sem jaz to.
No, pa je v redu pol.
Little by little, he is coming to the conscience. I said, do you know the Savo? He says, yes, I know. I said, no, so? Then we're doing good.
Nisi ti pozabljen, nobeden ti ni pozabil, nobeden te tukaj pustil ne bo. Nobeden.
I said, nobody have forgotten about you. Nobody left you behind. And nobody will allow you to stay here. I am working my best to get you home.
Nobeden. Jaz delam na temu. Tukaj, ko sem naredil, je nemogoče povedati. Sploh povedal čisto vse, koga je bilo, kaj se je dogajalo.
A ti to poznaš? Te zdaj ven.
Take te je ven pelala.
Ja.
I told my father that I completed a lot of work, impossible to tell how much work, and he asked me about if I know the one that took him out from home for elderly people. That was the mother. That's basically his wife. Now, when the father was at home, he was giving me signals about my mom. He was saying that this is not his wife, etc., 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 which is not a proper way to communicate with me. This is not the way you communicate. This is his wife. This is his... she comes to visit him on a regular basis, which is a really nice thing. On the other hand, that she does this, because it could be... I suppose it could be even different. I don't know if it would have been possible. I don't think it would have been possible. This is a Walt Disney of lunacy right outside and open, which is enforced by the Novo Mesto police station. There is absolutely no doubt about it. So I don't know how the fuck different this would have been. I don't know how the police would do this stuff differently. My mother, however, maintained during MK Ultra that the first one, and did so with the police, and did so with the psychiatrist's cops in front of me, the first one The first turn is going to be a father who's going to have to go inside a home for elderly people. Then it's going to be her turn, and she suggested to me during MK Ultra that we're going to see what you're going to do with me once it's going to be my turn. And when it's going to be her turn, I understand, according to what she told me, she had 2 locations in her mind. One was a prison and another one was psychiatric hospital Ljubljana Polje. With already psychiatrists such as Taučar, etc., 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 coming into my face, suggesting me during MK Ultra with Andreja Jerić, with the nurse Andreja Jerić, on how they made all kinds of arrangements. They will be able to maintain my mother somehow. That kind of stuff. Total fucking lunacy. Totally fucking insane. Psychiatric hospital Ljubljana Polje is this shithole right here. This is the address is from the Chengdu, from China. They got themselves an address for the Chinese address. It's a Chinese address, literally, they gave themselves. I don't know if the Chinese really want to be involved in this stuff, but I did spoke about Iran. I did spoke about Chengdu. This is a Chengdu. Chengdu Street 45, Ljubljana Polje, which is insane. This is the same shit like you would call a main prison in Beijing, because Ljubljana is a capital of Slovenia. And that would be a main prison or the main psychiatric hospital, and you would call one, I don't know, Ljubljanska 45. Probably Chinese people would not be excited about Slovenia, especially if that would be my case. If, God forbid, Chengdu Street, Chengdu is in China. Chengdu, China. See? This is in China, Chengdu. A city. And this is what the fuck we have. We don't have any kind of Chinese names. So the only street, the name in Slovenia is the one from the psychiatric hospital, the address. If this isn't fucking insane, I don't know what the fuck it is. I don't know what the fuck it is. I told you about Iran and Miran Sudin, right? Iran Sudin. I did spoke about that stuff, connection between Kuchan and doing their best to drive me insane. I don't know, to get Iran nuked out of existence. I don't think they have any different plan for China. I don't understand this. This is fault of the Chinese, because it was Chinese that did the business with the Kuchan, with these people. This is insane.
Ja, poznam. Nisi pozabljen. Jaz ne jebem nobenega, kaj drugi mislijo, kaj drugi vidijo. Tisti, ki se tebe hoče rešiti, bo prej šel ven iz hiše kot ti. Yes.
I say to the Father, you're not forgotten, you are not left behind. I never forgot about you. I'm working on it to get you home. I don't give a fuck about anybody. And I tell him, the one who's going to try to get rid of you, inside of our home, inside of your house, inside of our home, whoever is going to try to get rid of you is going to be the one who's going to go out of the home before you're going to go. I tell him that. That is in respect to Mother. For him being intimidated to even think about where he's from, that he does have a home, this isn't fucking happening as long as I live. Even if he's not allowed, I go there, I tell him about this stuff, and for fuck's sake, my mama is going to have to give a really good explanation about this, or she's going to have problems. Serious problems, because I'm in business about this. I tell him, whoever is going to be unhappy, dissatisfied with your stay inside of your home, inside of your house, right here, where I'm at right now, is going to fly out of the house. I don't care. And he knows exactly what that means. I say to Father, I'm working on getting you home. Absolutely.
Ja. Oziroma, jaz takrat ti boš pri meni bil, pa tudi z mano boš šel. Jaz nimam nobenega tle. Ti boš z mano tudi šel lepo. Mi se bo lepo v avto vsela, popelala tudi drgam, Rebelovit in tako naprej. Ne boš ti tukaj tako bil sam.
Father says, take me home, basically, he says. I said, you definitely will go home. You and I, we're definitely going to sit inside of the car and we're going to go home. Both of us, and we're going to go fishing, etc., etc. I tell him it's not going to be like this. He says, where do I have the house? I said, you have the house, you have a home, you have the house, etc. He says, where is the house? I say, it's right next to the Krka River. And I continue to ask him again, I continue to repeat the same thing. It's very, very, very important for me that Father knows that he has his home, his house, and that he's coming home. So I continue to ask him, where are you at home?
Ni tako. Tu je tvoj dom tam na Krki. Od tam si ti doma.
And I say to Father, he doesn't even have the guts to say where he is from. I say, at the Krka is your home. That's your home. I tell him, whoever thinks any different, that is your home, that is your house, is going to go inside of the jail.
V zapor noter, ti je jasno. Tu je tvoj dom. Tu tle so pa pizdeti, pa na tistem... A sem vedno v drugih rokah. Pa bojo nafukali oni vsi. Bojo nafukali oni do ta zadnjega, tle bo policija prišla. Sem na svet prišel, pa sem hmalo v druge roke padel.
He says that he was always in other people's hands. No, I think he is hallucinating a little bit. The one who was in other people's hands, I was.
Si me slišal, kaj sem ti povedal? Si me razumel, kaj sem ti povedal? Te ljudje bojo nafukali tle, do ta zadnjega bojo šli.
I tell him that everyone in this home for elderly people is going to get fucked. I tell him that police is going to come here, and when police is going to come here, it's going to be a cleansing in this home for elderly people. I want him to understand one thing, that he's not alone. I'm working on getting him home, and the people inside of the home for elderly people, I don't want him to have any kind of respect for these people. Because I know that this is a total disrespect. They have a disrespect for me. They had a total disrespect for him. It's all about total disrespect. It's about the criminal network. And that's exactly what this home for elderly people is.
Zaporno. Do ta zadnjega, razumeš? Ja, tako je. Ti se lepo pomer, ker jaz s tabo sem in delam na temu, da te dobim domov. In domov te bomo tukaj.
Pay attention how the saliva is running out of his mouth uncontrollably, and this is exactly due to liver, kidney problems. He mentioned me on the other video. 3 days later, dehydration issues, lack of liquid, that kind of stuff.
Nisi ti pozabljen na nič.
You're not forgotten, etc., etc.
Ti golazen, ti smrt. Ti probaj preživeti to lepo
employees of the home for elderly people, in my eyes, are filth, dirt, scum, to put it plain and simple. And when it comes to my father, I want him to acknowledge this. I want him to comply with the stuff that is happening. I want him to understand, however, that I work on getting him home. However, there is absolutely no need for respect to the people like this. There is no need for respect to the people like this. I have zero respect for these people. The only respect these people from Home for Elderly People ever are going to get from me is during the visit to Home for Elderly People when we deal person in person. But on the first chance, on the first opportunity, I'm going to rip your ass apart. Just wait that I get you a police over there. You're going to see how you like that.
Umeru lepo tu je vse, kar je, ali ti domov boš prišel, ker jaz delam na temu, da jaz domov te bom dubil. Ne bom dovolil, da boš ti kar takole. In tudi vedno sem s tabo, jaz vedno na tem mislim, vedno delam na temu, vsak dan.
Dobro, da jaz vem to.
Vsak dan delam na tem.
Anyway, father started to gain morale. He says, good that I understand this.
Da te dobim domov, vsak dan.
Jaz vem to.
Ja, seveda.
Jaz te pa tebe nisem poznal, ne.
Ti mene
He says, I know this, but I did not recognize you.
nisi poznal zaradi tega, ker ti mene videl nisi dolgo časa.
Ja, ja.
Ti pa mene videl dolgo časa nisi zato, ker so meni prepovedali tukaj k te prideti na obisk.
I explained father that he did not recognize me because he had not seen me for a very long time. And he had not seen me for a very long time because I was prohibited from visiting one. I am still prohibited from visiting one. This for me is a prohibition. I explained issues behind my health, which Slovenian scum, they're more than well aware of it. They were behind the poisoning. They were behind these procedures. There is no reason to respect filth, scum, murderers, killers employed by so-called Slovenian police. There is no reason for the scum. There's no reason, there's absolutely no reason for the scum to respect the scum. These are not people. This is a scum. This is a dirt. The way you treat the scum like this is the same way that prisoners of the Auschwitz or the Dachau treated the SS officers when the Allies came to them. That's how you properly treat, and that's exactly how you see the scum. To be a human being, you have to see a scum as a scum. If you don't see the scum as a scum, you are dehumanized, you no longer are a human being. You have no ability to resist, you have no ability to fight back. I bring a little bit different morale on the picture. I'm not going to say that I don't comply. I do not consider myself as a Slovenian. I am a native from here, and I do not consider Slovenian people as a native people from here.
Res?
Ja, tako je, da so meni prepovedali tukaj.
Kdo ti je pa prepovedal?
Kdo? Direktor tega doma tvojega za starejše, ljudje noter so prepovedali, da obisk tep naredim.
Father says, really? And he is skeptical about, he says, who was the one who forbidden you from me to visiting you? And I tell him, it was a director from the Home for Elderly People, and it was also workers, the people that work inside and here.
Zaradi tega, ker sem snemal stvari.
Because I video recorded the things, is they did not want me to be here, to visit you anymore. They prohibited me from coming on visits to you.
Stvari sem pa moral snemati, zato da imam dokaze proti policiji.
The things, however, which I recorded, I had to video record so that I can have a proofs against the police. This is, after all, the case of MK Ultra. This was all based on the scenarios, based on MK Ultra scenarios.
Proti domu, zato da te ven dobimo tukaj.
So that I have evidence against Home for Elderly People, which engaged in torture, so that I can get you home.
Zato sem snemal in zato snemam. Meni so nemogoče stvari naredili. Ni bilo mene tukaj, meni ni bilo, ker bi s tebe pozabil.
So this is the reason why I was not there. This is the reason why I did not visit, and so on and so forth. Folks, it's extremely important in a circumstance, and doesn't matter how far they push you. it doesn't matter what the fuck they do with you. The moment that your will is broken is the time when you see murderers, killers, for what they are not. This is the time when you're completely lost. Never do this.
Takoli. Če bi s tebe pozabil, tebe tukaj živega več ne bi bilo.
Fear is a mental illness. That's a fear. When you start to see criminals, murderers, killers, for what they are not, you're definitely mentally ill. Fear is a mental illness. Never allow fear to control you. Never allow fear to control you. Never allowed fear to control you. The scenario for me not to see myself in the Slovenian people, etc., 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 was developed by the psychiatrists, was developed by the police, because they figured out it would be easier for Robert Golob, for Milan Kučan, for Janez Janša, for others, to prove the rest of the population about my not being suitable and so on. But the thing about it is that, you know, this is not my nation, these are not my people. What the fuck is there to say? What kind of people the fuck are these Slovenian people? They tutored in the school, almost in the kindergarten, about the Hitler, about the neo-Nazi Germany and so on. And look what they were doing. Look what they were not, I'm going to say, capable to resolve, to stop. Not to resolve, but to stop even upon gaining Slovenian independence for the first time in its existence. In 1,300 years, first time they gained their independence, and they were not capable to resolve, to stop extermination procedure against the native individual, against whom they started to this procedure when he was just 3 months of age in Yugoslavia in 1972. I cannot see myself in a people like this. If I see myself in a people like this, as a member of this kind of community, as a member of this kind of nation, when you're going to see me, seeing myself in these people, then it's time for me to go inside and hear. It's called the psychiatric hospital. If I ever see myself in a scum like this, it's time for me to go inside and hear.
Ti si vsak dan tam na moji tistem blogu, ki imam, na tisti spletni strani, ki imam, na internetu. Vsak dan si gor.
I tell my father, every day you are on my blog, every day you are on the front page of the blog. Every day I put you up there.
Vsak dan o tebe pišem.
I write about you every day.
Ni enega dneva, ki jaz o tebe ne pišem. Policija tu spremlja, oni...
There is not a single day I do not write about you, and police monitors this blog. Hell yes.
Te stvari gledajo in tudi vejo, da se te ne morejo odkrižati.
They know they cannot get rid of you as long as you are on the front page of the blog all the time.
Razumeš? To je golazen taka, da je svet videl ni. Tu so psi. Drhal je tu.
I want father to understand about the police officers who were coming inside the house. People who beauty-mouthed about how they're going to take care of him, how it's going to be this, if everything is going to be okay, and so on, how it's going to be wonderful, the two of you are going to be wonderful, and you're going to be rich, and it's going to be this, it's going to be helpers, and I don't know what the fuck is going to be. I want my father to become realistic about it. This is a scum. This is not the police. These are murderers. These are killers. These are not people. It's a dirt. It's a filth. I want him to erase the illusion about the so-called people, about any kind of concerns these people have had with my father, for because of these people, he ended up in a situation where he is at.
Gnoj so tu, gnoj so tu, gnoj so tu.
Kaj ime?
Boštjan. Ga poznaš Savota ti? Poznaš ti Savčita?
Ebe.
And I play with my father. He says, I ask him again about Boštjan, about the Savo, if he knows the Savči and so on.
Ga poznaš? Ok.
To je ta.
Savčita poznaš? Dobro.
Da.
Ta je, ja, ta je. Domov ti prišel boš, tu jaz delam na temu, niti en dan ni šel, da ti ne bi bil na internetu, da ne bi bilo. Ne vem, kaj oni te pravijo. Samo to, kar oni te govorijo, je prazen kurac.
Yes.
I explain my father again that he is every day on the internet on the front page of the blog. And I say to him, I don't know what the fuck they tell you, what they talk to you, but you're going to come home for sure. There is absolutely no doubt about it. You're not forgotten, you will come home.
Nič ne vemo tega.
Ja,
Father says, I don't know anything about this.
zdaj veš, da jaz na temu delam, da jaz tebe domov dobim, vedno,
I said, now you do know that I work every day, all the time, to get you home. Absolutely.
vsak dan. Mama ni dovolila avtomobila uporabiti, zaradi tega, ker noče olje noter zamenjati.
I explained to the father about the situation with the mother. I explained to him that mother did not allow the oil change.
2 leti že skoraj isto olje noter v avtomobilu zdaj.
There is almost 2 years already the same oil filter, etc., etc.
Ja.
Take svinarije dela, tu pa dela zato, da je jaz vozil ne bi, zato da bi avto lahko prodala.
And I also explained to the father why mother is doing this kind of stuff. He doesn't want me to drive her with the car, and he doesn't want me to drive her with the car because he wants to sell the car. In other words, he's trying to get rid of him. No car, no transport. If there is no transport, what are you going to do when there is no transport? Yeah, the mother already had the solution, including selling the house and departing to the home for elderly people.
Avto hoče pa prodati zato.
First of all, no longer to pay visits to the father because there is no more transportation, that's one thing. And the second thing, sell the house and go to home for elderly people. And for me, they were sure they're going to buy me a place right here inside of this psychiatric hospital. Eventually, my niece, Urška Golob-Weber, was making an arrangement with this psychiatrist at some other location, at some other home for elderly people where they would dump me inside. This is beyond. This is a uber swinery. Unprecedented swinery is what this is.
Ker mora k tebi hoditi na obisk.
So I explained, Father, step by step,
Tu.
absolutely about everything, why I was not there, etc., etc. That's what this video is about. For people to understand that I care about the father, that I'm doing everything possible to get my father home. And absolutely, I'm not giving up on a father, even a single inch, even a millimeter along the way. We're going to go to the grave with this stuff. Slovenia, if it's going to win, is going to win on my grave. But Slovenia never ever is going to wash this case off its shoulders.
Še njih me je prišlo.
Ja, no, mislim, jaz ti samo povem, kako so stvari, da boš razumel. Vroče je ratalo, jaz ti...
Kako je tebi ime?
He keeps asking me what my name is. I think he wants to know, repeat, I think he likes that I tell him that it's Boštjan, etc. He likes to play with that.
Savo te poznaš? Če Savo te poznaš?
Poznam.
No, vidiš. Če Savo te poznaš, pa smo dobri.
I say, if you know Savo, we're good.
Vse bo v redu, oče.
So that's the way it goes.
Boš šel loviti, boš vedel in
Kaj
navtočiti in
si
vse.
povedal?
Prav je, da veš. Kaj ni prav, da veš.
Seveda.
Nobe.
So, Father is quite glad that I stopped by, that I had a conversation with him, that I explained to him is that I'm glad you told me all this.
Nobeden tebe pozabil ni,
Da
nobeden...
ti že moral to vedeti, pa nikdar ni noben mi povedal.
Look how the saliva is running out of his mouth. Look at that. Look at that.
Če Savo te poznaš, no vidiš. Če Savo te poznaš, pa smo dobri.
Yeah, this is reduced to 480, okay?
Vse bo v redu, če domov boš prišel, ribe boš šel loviti, boš vedel in
Kaj
navtočiti
si
in
mi
vse.
povedal?
Prav je, da veš, kaj ni prav, da veš.
Seveda,
Nobeden tebe pozabil ni,
da
nobeden...
ti že moral to vedeti, pa nikdar ni noben mi
You can see that.
povedal.
Look what's happening. I mean,
Koliko je ura?
Ura je 9:30.
mother comes and mother asks what time it is. I say it's 9:30 because at 10 o'clock he has to be upstairs.
10 do 10 moram biti jaz gor.
Ja, prav. Če ga jaz še pelat, ka ti je lepo tukaj. Ja, njemu je lepo tukaj.
He likes it next to the river.
Ja, boš vedel, da ne bojo oni to. Ne bo, morda mislijo, da bojo, ampak ne
Lepši
bojo.
mi je tako na un stran.
Lepše tlele, ne? Seveda
Father likes next to the water. He likes very much.
tle voda žubori, lepo, pogledaj, kako je lepo tukaj. Brez skrbi. Nisi ti pozabil na nobene take stvari, kaj so te ljudje fantazirali, ne vem. Nimam pojma, o čemu so te gnoj.
Dunk. I tell my father, I have no idea what the dunk was fantasizing, but nobody forgot you. Nobody left you behind. Nobody is leaving my father behind. This Slovenian dunk from Novo mesto police station, this Slovenian dunk from the psychiatric hospital Ljubljana Polje, this Slovenian dunk by the name Boštjan Poklukar, this Slovenian dunk by the name Nataša Pirc Musar, dunk by the name Robert Golob, dunk by the name Milan Kučan, dunk by the name Borut Pahor, dunk by the name Tanja Fajon, dunk by the name Luka Mesec. I have no fucking idea what your state prosecutor, you fucking scum Slovenian, what you are hallucinating about. But my father for me is in memory 24/7. And for what you have done, I'm not gonna rest. I will die before I let you scum walk free from this case.
Fantazirali, samo te gnoji so prijavljeni policiji.
Mi sploh ni noben tega povedal, da imam še koga.
I explained, Father, that I reported them to the
Ne
police.
skrbi, da imaš.
Mi ni noben povedal.
My father needs to...
Imaš sina od Savota, imaš.
I explained, Father, that dunk I reported them to the police. I explained this. Father must understand
Sina od Savota.
that these people were reported to the police.
Ne boš ti sam tukaj, tako ni to tako, da si ti tu...
I tell him that he is never alone here, that he was never left behind. I told him, you have a son.
Zabo in tako naprej. Nisi ti tu, če bi s tebe pozabil, tebe ne bi bilo več tukaj. Oni vejo to, da bojo najebali. Vejo to, da bojo najebali. Bilo je na temu, da so hoteli stvari urediti po svoje. Oni so hoteli tako narediti, da bi s tebe pozabil, da razumeš, stran me dati. Pa sem pa še bolj pritisnil na njih.
I explained, Father, that they had a tactic, they had a way, they demanded from me to give up on the father, that all this harassment that went on, it wasn't just like this. This is the way when they do the stuff like this, they do it. They do the stuff like this so that you literally leave your relatives behind. And this is the stuff I don't do it.
Ne bo šlo to, nobena taka stvar ne bo šla, ne bo šlo nič čez 6. Domov te dobiti, pa ribiško palco v roke, pa ribe, kje
The fishing pole, get you at home, fishing pole in your hands, and go fishing.
Mišice, lepo počas, lepo, zrihtati se lepo. Nisi ti pozabil.
Ne, tu moramo pred zmedo urediti, da bomo mi skrb živeli.
Ja, seveda se je zdelo na temu.
Father is very happy, very interested in motivating me coming home, and
Sem to vedel.
Ja,
wants to come home. He wants to live with me, he says.
Madonna, kako nisi vedel. Tako je, kako če pa biti drugače. Kako če biti drugače. Kaj misliš, da bom jaz tebe pustil, da boš šla sam noter bil tako, da bo tu bilo takole, kot je tu? Plastično tlele, da boš. Tu jaz ne dovolim tega. Ne dovolim jaz tega, ni to tako. Tu jaz ne dovolim.
Ja,
Nisi ti brezdomec in nisi sirota. Ti imaš dom svoj, ti imaš svojo hišo. Razumeš me?
I explained my father over and over and over again that he is not a homeless person, that he has a house, that he has a home, etc., etc.
In ribiške palce imaš pripravljene.
And I tell my father, your fishing poles, all your fishing poles are waiting. They are ready for you to go fishing.
Ne gre to tako.
ne, na srce smo obrnili.
Ja, kaj mislim. Ni čudno, s takim opravkami, ko je to bilo, s takimi, ko je to bilo. Jaz, ker se slovenske policije gre, jaz jih obravnavam kot zločince, morilce. Jaz sploh z njimi, ko imam posla, enostavno povedano, samo hočem vedeti, kako, kaj in to čisto uradno. Nobenega spoštovanja med nami ni več. Nobenega spoštovanja ni. Dela se tisto, oni delajo tisto, kar se od njih zahteva, če imaš ti pravno podlago. Če pa ti pravne podlage nimaš, si pa ti za njih smet, pes in nekdo, ki bi ga treba že ščistiti sveta pred 50 leti. Čisto tako povedano.
I explained my father about how Slovenian police operates. They have a judiciary system behind them, they have a state prosecutors, they have a politicians behind, and these are the people that protect their interests. Before they do crime, before they engage in crime, they always make sure they have the people lined up behind them. And who became now a Slovenian Prime Minister, obviously, these are the final stages of this genocide. Slovenes elected for their foreign minister, Tanja Fajon. That was a criminal who was involved in MK Ultra since my childhood and have also negotiated with the foreign authorities, with the foreign people from United Nations, European Union, etc., etc. US Justice Department of State, a future crime against me, basically a follow-up compliance with agreements Slovenian Milan Kučan, Janez Janša, Lojze Peterle have made together with the foreign diplomats, basically, by using Tanja Fajon. This is the way it operated.
Tako je to in tako na tak način jih je treba tudi obravnavati. Preko pravne podlage in z njimi delati na...
Kje pa ti stanuješ?
Ja, pretepa. V tvoji hiši.
Little by little, systematically, a little bit with a joke, a lot seriously, I have a serious conversation with my father. I want him to understand basically what's going on, and I did a very good job.
V tvoji hiši stanujem.
Kje?
Pri Sabotu stanujem.
He says, where do I live? I said, in your house, I tell the father, in your house. And he says, where is this house? I said, where the Savo house is, where the Savo house is. Again, I'm joking. I'm trying to put a little smile on his face. He wants to know where do I live and this and that. And so I accent that he has a home, that he has a house.
Jaz presavim.
Jaz ne vem, kje je tu.
He said that he doesn't know where this is.
Tam ob Krki imaš isto veliko hišo vgrajeno.
I said, listen, Father, you have a big house, fenced with a big fence all around the house at the Krka. At the Krka you have, remember?
Ti imaš veliko hišo vgrajeno tam ob Krki. Tako lepo, pa čoln imaš v spodaj lepo pod hišo.
You have a boat under the house, a beautiful house.
Kako da ne veš, seveda veš, kako da ne.
Res.
He says, yeah, it is true, it is true. He recalled the house. Let's say that he recalled the house.
To je res, ti si tvoja
Ti
hiša.
veš, jaz pa nisi vedel.
Ja,
He says, and you know it, and I did not know it. And this is in respect to the conversation. Father knows very good what we are talking about. He knows very good what we are talking about. Father had police deliver me in 2012, 2013, and it was not Father. It was some kind of a prosecutor they were using who had police deliver me. He had criminals, prosecutors, Slovenian prosecutors, I need to find out who you are, scum, who guaranteed me my being dead. They guaranteed me my being dead. Literally delivered me to Father. In front of the Father, they guaranteed me being dead. And when they delivered me to the Father, they told me that my father no longer is going to come home. The father was all in panic. He acted in a panic. And this was when Father threw me inside of the psychiatric hospital. I told the Father, that's a good thing. And they told me, Father threw me inside of the psychiatric hospital through the lies. Then he demanded from me to explain that he is coming home, etc., etc., when I was actually thrown inside of the psychiatric hospital. So to him, this kind of conversation is coming a little bit, it's a little bit conflict of the interests, because it's a reminder of what went on in 2012 and 2013. However, 2012, 2013 doesn't have anything to do with this. My father was, and my father is a victim of Slovenian police, state prosecutors and so on. The people whom my father trusted so much are only the people who swear, oathed in my face, they are going to kill me, destroy me, for mistreating the father like this, etc., etc., etc. Now the thing is that these people, it's very important for the father understands. These people are out there to kill him just as they were out there to kill me. That's called udri sina, ubi oca system.
tudi ti. Zdaj tudi ti veš.
Mene so skozi barabe za noč vlekle.
Father says the bastards always pulled him inside. Yes, those bastards, they got you inside. Yes, that's right.
Skušate za nos vlekli. Ja, pa si ti tam doma.
They were pulling him for the nose.
Ti si tam doma. Tam si ti doma. Ti je tvoj dom. Tvoja hiša je tu, ne samo tvoj dom. Tu je tvoja hiša.
I tell my father, this is your home and this is your house.
Tam si ti doma.
This is where you are at home.
Kje so lopovi doma, jaz ne vem.
Kje si pa ti tle doma?
Ja, jaz sem preteptam. V tvoji hiši sem zastojen.
I tell my father, he asked me, where are you at? And I said to my father, this is also a bad one for the father, because he always insisted that it's everything for free for me. I tell my father, I am in your house, I am in your home for free. I play with him a little bit.
Kako pa si ti od tam sem prišel?
Ja. Kako sem jaz od tam tukaj prišel?
He says, how did you come from the home, from the house over there here?
Z avtomobilom tvojim sem se pripeljal.
I say to him, I took your car and I drove with your car all the way here.
Polo tam.
With the Volkswagen Polo, with your car I came.
Zdaj bom mamo domov pelil.
I say to father, I'm going to take mother at home now.
Tako sem prišel. Kje imaš pa mamo? Danes sem jaz pri tebi.
He says, where I have the mama? I said, today I am with you.
Nema mame. Mame ni, dokler ti domov ne prideš.
And I also tell my father, I say to him, there is no such thing like a mama until you come home.
Slišal? Če pa ti domov ne prideš, gre pa v čuzo. Tu je vse, kar je.
And if you don't come home, mama is going to the jail.
Nema mama.
He asked me where the mama is.
Mama je. Dokler ti domov ne prideš. Si razumel?
I tell him, no mama until you come home.
Tako je to. Ja, tako je to. Dokler ti domov ne prideš, nema mama. Nema nikakva mama. Dokler ti domov ne prideš. Mama v čuzo. To je vse, kar je. Tako je to.
Tako te tujci naredijo.
Če tako ni, potem tebe pa si gotov.
Pravim, da tu tujci naredijo.
Vsi, jaz ne vem, kdo je vsi, ampak tako je.
Nisem jaz naredil.
Važno je, da si ti, da veš, da ti nisi sam, da to ni to, da jaz delam na temu, da jaz tebe dobim domov od tukaj. Si razumel? Važno je tudi, da ti veš.
Nikdar nisem vedel za tebe.
Nisi vedel za mene?
Ne.
To je pa slabo, to je pa slaba stvar.
Nabrn me ni povedal.
To bi moral pa ti sam vedeti.
Father says that he never knew about me, and yeah, I told him this is the stuff that you should have known about your own son.
Tako.
These are the things that other people do not tell you. This is the stuff that you should know by yourself.
To bi moral sam
Nisem
vedeti.
nikdar skup živela.
He says that the two of us never lived together.
Ja, vidiš, tako je to.
So, we did have a conversation, we did spoke. Little by little, I will rehabilitate my father to a normal state of mind so that he will understand. That's how I do the stuff. I keep repeating him that he will come home, for sure.
Ne vem, kaj je tebi kdo rekel, kaj je
Da
tebi rekel.
tebe noben.
Kako?
Ni noben, da vam tebe.
A ja?
Ti si mi povedal, da sem jaz.
Da imaš sina?
Ja.
Ja. Ka imaš še kakšnega drugega sina, kje? Kje?
Sem dol presedel, njegov Krk.
Res?
Ja.
He says, I asked him if he has any other sons. And he says to me, yes, I do have some at the neighbor and one right next to the Krka.
Pa jih imaš pa kar enih par.
Pa ne vem, ali je moj sin ali ni moj sin. Sem človek. Noben človek ne človečega je.
He says, and I don't know if he is my son or he is not my son. It's impossible to tell if he is your son or he is not son. People these days don't know anymore who is their son, obviously, who is not.
Ja, pa meni, da si kaj kakšen, če smo kakšno dobro žensko, si se kaj spomnil, meni, da se kaj spomniš kakšno dobro, če je bil kaj.
I say, if there was some good-looking woman, I said to him, you probably do remember if there was some good-looking lady. If she was a good-looking, I'm sure that you remember. You would know if she was a good-looking. I joke with him a little bit.
Je bilo kaj dobrega? Je bilo kakšna dobra ženska?
I asked him, I said, was some good-looking lady out there, Father? Did you have some good-looking lady? I mean.
Je bilo kaj?
And he says, no.
Ti se lepo umer, vse v redu je. Je lepa voda? Je lepo? Lepo žaburi, a? To je ta pravo, a?
He likes the water, the sound of water. He loves that.
A poznaš ti to? Tlekaj je.
Če poznam to gospo?
Ja.
Ja, poznam, kako da ne.
He is asking about the lady, if referring to my mom, to his wife, basically, if I know her. And I don't want to go into any of that stuff. I say, yes, sure, of course I do. It's a very simple. I keep it very simple and clean. I don't want to go into any deep stuff with him, as far as the mother or something like that. But it's one thing I make it clear, because of what I mentioned to you earlier about the mom. There is no mama until he returns home. And if he does not return home, it's a jail. It's not mama. I don't talk about it. I don't want to talk about any of that stuff. He understands what I'm talking about. It's a simple thing, just simple like this.
Kaj praviš? Kaj praviš? A kdo je? Ti si razumel zdaj, ne? Ti si zastopil zdaj, tukaj sem ti povedal. No, tako.
I asked him if he understood what I told him, and he said he did. He's asking about who it is. You can see Mom is standing way away from us on the side, and he has an excellent vision. He's looking straight forward, but he knows that she's on the side. I don't want to get into it. I explained everything to him he needs to understand. So that was our meeting from July the 10th, and this one here was from July the 13th, 2025, and I'm not happy about it. Father telling me about being dehydrated, thirsty. This isn't the way to go. As far as this individual here, he has nothing other than to accent than how the police is doing excellent job. This future article, as he referred to his crime to me during MK Ultra, the expression varnostna romantika is the stuff that it's not really forgettable. If somebody talks to you during MK Ultra, when you see it, you will recall the stuff. Claims that Slovenian police, to put it plain and simple, the best thing is to just translate into English language by using a translator here, like this. If I translate this to you in English, it's Slovenian police is a defender of the rule of law, a defender of the human rights, a partner to the people, and an ally of the European security. Really? Oh, so you go to the police station to complain against the police that Well, listen, the officer Pevets, and I don't recall right now what the name of the other police officer was, they went physical with me when I pop up first time at the police station, when I was just trying to obtain information about how to submit complaint against police, complaint related to the genocide, to which I refer to as MK Ultra, involving also director Igor Jušić, directors and so on. He was physical the first time when I stopped by at local police station, to put it this way. The second thing is, seriously? MK Ultra is what Sonia Breznik, state prosecutor from Ministry of Interior, suggested, laugh in my face together with Amir and Sudin, equaled my complaint based on MK Ultra with what is known as a telepathy. I don't know anything about the telepathy. I never believed in any telepathy in my life. And this is what this minister claims. The Slovenian police grossly inflammable statement he made by suggesting that is defender of the rule of law, a defender of the human rights, and a partner to the people and an ally of the European security. Really? This is why it's necessary for me to explain what the situation is in Slovenia, what kind of stuff this is. This is basically laughter in the face, sadism, like this, counting desperately on something that one would do, drastic steps that one would make, so that they cannot even apologize violence against me anymore. But they're looking just for anything they could use, anything that they would point out, something, anything they could hold themselves onto. Obviously, the statements like this are grossly insane, over-exaggerated. The only comment that Minister of Interior got was right here on the bottom. They closed the section for the comments. They would not allow people to comment. There's one guy who called him a liar and demands a dismissal of this garbage here, who further claims in his article that police is facing challenges such as cybercrime. He's talking about the cybercrime. He's talking the police is facing hybrid threats, that police is facing a radicalization, the dark web. So he has a lot of problem with the internet, the artificial intelligence even, online threats, and the fake news. And the one who was insane about the fake news and was also known as the president of the fake news, brainwashed inside of our house, laughed in my face, suggested me on how I will be submitting the complaint, and she will be talking about the fake news, accenting all the time the fake news during her presidency. This was inside of our house. Her name is Nataša Pirc Musar. This is one thing I did not make sure that I would have the page ready for you. And she is listed right here on the top, the President of Republic of Slovenia. And you're going to have her page. And then she had a bundle of the videos under her page available. She has her channel right here with the videos, and the channel is translated by the girl who was involved in MK Ultra before she even got the job through Borut Pahor, his presidency. And this is for the people that are simply gluhonemo, I don't know how you say that, but for the deaf people, people who cannot hear. The girl that you see right there that is translating these videos for the deaf people, she was involved very much in MK Ultra, and she was even supposedly interested in a marriage with me. Yes, I liked her very much. Let me just take this video for example here. This girl that you see right there, I liked her. I actually even proposed her during MK Ultra. The thing is that it was Borut Pahor, the one who, under whose presidency she was assigned. And I understand even through my recommendation, whatever, my liking her or whatever. Now the thing about it is that Borut Pahor, this individual right here, apprentice from Milan Kucan. I am not going to go into, I'm just going to write down here Putin, and we're going to make this story really short so that you know who exactly this guy is, who exactly we're talking about. He demanded from this girl to simply lobby for him in respect to my case. So for my love for her, she started to demand from me to stop criticizing Milan Kucan, him, and the other pro-Serbian people in Slovenia that are doing their best to go back under the Belgrade. It is much easier to see this stuff here under the... You can see Nataša Pirc Musar dedicated entire a video here to disinformation. It's called the disinformation. That's probably where I fit in. And this is the collection of the videos, and that's exactly what I was talking about when I was talking about Nataša Pirc Musar. She harassed, she bullied during MK Ultra, and was all the time talking about how she's going to be talking about disinformation. So this is the president, Slovenian president, that keeps hallucinating about the disinformation. Disinformation here, disinformation, etc., etc. They really wanted to make me mad about this stuff. Obviously, You don't treat human being like this and portray yourself as some kind of president and some kind of a credible individual. That is insane. I don't see here a lot of stuff about disinformation. She is talking about here about something about the nuclear reactor facility, Krško. I don't actually see here really. I don't understand why is it that I don't see this stuff here. Here at least I found fight against the disinformation. This is on her page. She all the time throughout her presidency was actually in the issue of disinformation. I don't understand. Center for the Social Work, etc. must be accessible to everybody. Ah, that's crazy. That's a madness. She is talking about the mental health and stigma pertaining to one. Crazy, completely unrealistic. All right. I saw some other videos. All right. That does not save Nataša Pirc Musar, not today. She is not lucky, very, very lucky. She's not today. This is not canal where she is lucky. And here is how I do it. Dezinformacije. You can go and you can change your canal and you can do whatever the fuck you want to do. You can change the names of your videos, etc., but look at this here. She is all about the word desinformație, disinformation. She's all about disinformation. This is what Nataša Pirc Musar was intimidating me, harassing me with. This is what resulted on October the 30, 2024, with me landing inside of the psychiatric hospital Ljubljana Polje. For daring to submit another complaint against Novo Mesto police station at Novo Mesto police station. I'm not about the disinformation. But these people are not people. This is a scum. This is a filth. This is a dirt. Dunk. These are not humans. Look what she is writing about. This one specialized to lie, to misrepresent, just like her Minister of Interior, Boštjan Poklukar. These are her statements. Like I said, you can go and you can change the name of the videos. The problem is, Nataša Pirc Musar, you have so much material on the internet about the disinformation, and even what you're referring in this article as unusual internet. What is this here? Novičarskimi stranmi. This is not even a Slovenian word. It's like the word like you would call somebody like mentally retarded. So I'm pretty sure that she puts me in here, in this rank here. The only question I have is, why were you people so afraid when I came to the police station? What happened to you? Why were you so afraid? Why were you equaling MK Ultra, genocide, MK Ultra with the telepathy? What has got the telepathy common with the MK Ultra? And how did you get any kind of justification for your statements were nothing other than lies that had nothing to do with what I stated during my visit to the police? I'm not about the disinformation, but you are all about the lies. What you're talking about has nothing to do with the reality. You are not elected, you are self-appointed, and you are self-appointed by the Janez Janša. You are self-appointed by the people that supposedly present your opposition. If that was not the truth, I wouldn't be talking to you about this stuff. So, clearly Slovenia is not a democratic country. Clearly Slovenia is using as an excuse for extermination the so-called leftists. The expression, this kind of novičarskimi, the expression, to je zaničevalno, v slovenskem jeziku zaničevalno. Because she is a president, she positions herself in a role of somebody like well dressed up, a president, presentable figure, properly spoken, and you are nothing other basically than crazy with your blog, basically, in that sense. It's not directly directed toward me, because she doesn't have a guts to call out. Is the only defense that she have left is to lie to the police, psychiatry, violence, stalking with the police, violence on the streets, indirectly using people that were involved in MK Ultra, and basically see nothing, hear nothing, know nothing. That means contract through Tanja Fajon, which this pizdati Slovenski, losers, scum, dump, filth have made with the foreign diplomats. You're gonna talk about disinformation scum, murderous scum. This is actually about the web pages related to the Africa. There is stuff related to the death of the Robert Golob, that he demanded takedown of the presidential palace, that he died inside of the accident, etc., etc., etc. That's called artificial intelligence news. Anybody can do that when it comes to artificial intelligence news. And the one who financed this kind of news was Nataša Pirc Musar. The one who financed this news was Tanja Fajon. Tanja Fajon, according to MK Ultra, was the one who negotiated artificial intelligence facility right here with the Slovenia, through the foreign investment, through the European and American investment, all the way back to 2008, 2006, they started to hallucinate about artificial intelligence presence development also in Slovenia. So don't you fucking talk to me about disinformation when it's actually you who finance this kind of unusual, crazy news so that you can have something to talk about the disinformation, because you don't have a guts. You don't even have a guts to mention me. You don't have a guts to see me because you are scared. You are intimidated. You are afraid to call me even crazy. You have to use this kind of a bogus internet crazy news stuff to portray yourself as a legitimate, and that makes you a clown president. That makes you a really, really pathetic clown president. You're not very much feminist. Not very much. Do not share the misleading information. Why the fuck would anybody share crazy news, misleading information, etc., etc.? Why the fuck would anybody do this stuff? During MKUltra, it became evident, and this is funny, because it looks to me that these people have lost what they started. If I go to a newspaper, they had newspapers where they would prepare the articles, and it would be people that popped up inside of our house and whom they would have me visit throughout Slovenia, that already ahead of time for the articles that they would post, they would also post the comments. And it was pensioners and all kinds of people that were in agreement with these politicians, with their so-called journalists that would put the articles, with already commenters, with the commenters that would Borut Pahor recruited people like this with Milan Kucan. Well, just do me a favor and post the comment under this and this and this article and so on. Familiarize yourself with this and you're going to be this. And so this is what's known as the social democrats in Slovenia and the leftist party. And, you know, I don't, and SDS, social, whatever the hell that is, from Janez Janša. The same shit with the same kind of stuff. You would be surprised, you would be amazed. Right now we had this, Robert Golob suggested it's going to be a referendum on Slovenian NATO membership. Janez Janša partook in Zagreb, went on the concert at the same time from the guy who is depicted by many foreign outlets as Ustasha, as a supporter of the Ustasha, Thompson. Just so this crazy referendum, as crazy as the only referendum in Europe, could actually be voted by the people about Slovenian, whether Slovenia wants to continue its membership inside of the NATO. Isn't that fucking insane? So basically you can see that as soon as the leftists do some kind of a crazy stuff, you're going to see the right side, the so-called the right government, doing something even crazier, so that people would not even have something they could use for counterattack, because it doesn't give them a space. Those that would and should take care of these things do something even crazier. So this is the way they operate, basically. This is the way they go. And then you can go and you can continue with this stuff here, talking about the disinformation, that kind of stuff. You can see here also. I don't know which one of this is crazier stuff. Dark web, artificial intelligence, online threats, and fake news Fundamental mission of the police remain how to protect the individual and the community. That's right. Fucking sit inside of your computers, stalk, intimidate, attack on the streets, do completely insane stuff. Like the one I was talking to you today about my father, the way you regulated all these things. You give him a stroke, you destroy him. Then sit in front of the computer like you do and surveillance the website, everything I say, evaluate, and pišite svoje zapiske, idioti slovenski, v policijskih uniformah, ker zato vas imajo kretene. Zato se imate, zato vas davkoplačevalci plačujejo, da kreteni lahko sedite pred računalniki in delate svoje zapiske, debili. So that you can, idiots, sit in front of the computers, is what Slovenian taxpayers are paying you, and make your remarks in your little booklets. Interesting. ŠTEFANIČ, the funny man, stated, ANDREJ ŠTEFANIČ stated that he didn't know nothing about my website. That Novo Mesto police station don't know nothing about what MK is, and they don't know nothing about my website, they know nothing about me. They have the whole fucking battalion of the police. Entire police station was involved in this procedure. And a whole fucking battalion of people, including the retired police officers, that do nothing other than sit at home and read my newspaper and study and write the remarks. So that coordinate crime with what they refer to as the prosecutors. This is the way it goes. He assured that the ministry and the police are rapidly adapting to the new security reality. Poklukar said that the internal security system has begun to strengthen, connected and increased in its resilience. Our key goal is to continue to maintain a high level of security in Slovenia and increase resilience against new forms of security risks and threats. La 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 la. You have been criticized for public opinion about the police. The two speakers also criticized public opinion about the police. Yes. Petr said that it's the right that the work of the police is under scrutiny, but when criticism, what kind of a scrutiny? But when criticism exceeds the limits of professionalism and honesty, it is right, he said, to draw attention to it. Discrediting employees who resonate in the public and appear only to create fear among the people. Yes. Or for someone to enjoy 5 minutes of media fame. These are the words that inside of our house, inside of this house, Boštjan Poklukar, this very individual, now Minister of Interior, stated, this is you, 5 minutes of fame. I find this inappropriate and harmful in the trust between the people and their police. Yes, the trust between the people and their police. Yes, what the fuck, eh? What exactly am I writing? What exactly am I writing? What kind of stuff the hell I do? What exactly do I do? No, of course you're not perfect. You know who you guys are? You know who you guys are? Do you know who did this here? Do you know who did this? This is in Slovenia. There was 120,000 people murdered. There was mass graves. These people, same people that you watch today in the Slovenian police, their ancestors have committed crimes against humanity like this after the World War II. You gotta fucking talk to me about disinformation, 5 minutes of glory. Remember where you come from, Poklukar. Remember who you are. Yesterday you are inside of the Huda Yama killing people. Today you're talking about the disinformation. You're talking about the distrust and even making Slovenian people paranoid for talking, for disclosing everything about who you are and what you do today in 2025. You don't believe this? Pictures that I demonstrated you, they're real. They say here it's more than 600 mass killing locations in Slovenia. Slovenia only has a 20,000 square kilometers. They say here it's 630 of them. The people investigated this stuff. Do you know what is 630 locations of the mass killings of the people? This is Slovenia. You can talk all the fuck you want. You can wear the suits. You can wear beautiful watches. You can ride beautiful cars. If you were in Serbia, you wouldn't even today. You live like a fucking cockroach. But okay. You can do all you can. But it's the history that talks much louder than your lies, than your disinformation. You are scum. You are the kings of the disinformation. And you're a filth. You're not even a people. You're dung. You're scum. That's what you are. When you're in doubt, when you want to talk about the disinformation, my website might actually sound truly incredible. Hardly to believe that something like this is possible. Well, the truth about the Slovenia is insaner than the insane fantasy would be. But that's the truth about the Slovenia. And just because it's an ugly truth like this, it doesn't mean it's not real. Let's never forget where we are coming from. Let's never forget who is working at the police. For stuff I have said on my blog, in respect to Josip Broz Tito, scum, you are in Ljubljana, you are the same scum as when I was born in 1971. This stuff started when I was 3 months of age in 1972. You were using the Soviet Union and you were using mask. You were hiding behind the Yugoslavia, Greater Serbian Chetnik state, and behind the Soviet Union. For your insane crimes against humanity you did to me. In front of the entire world you did so. Upon your independence in 1991, you had nobody to hide behind anymore. It's all clear. You can talk all you want about disinformation, etc., but people have seen it. People know it. And you, my God, I never seen anybody that would fear as much as you fear. You actually transported me to the psychiatric hospital Ljubljana Polje when I appeared at Novo Mesto police station to submit complaint against the police employees of Novo Mesto police station. Not to mention what else went on inside of this police station, from torture. Ministry of Interior involved literally in the procedures, into the forms, into interrogation techniques during my submission of complaint, of MK Ultra complaint to the police. You are fucking incredible in the shittiest sense. That's why it's very important that the visit to my father was, I deem, of extreme importance, because it's very, very important for my father to be aware that, not because it would have anything to do with me, as police insisted, that I would be investigated, that it would be the police and that they would visit him, etc., etc., etc. No, I don't fear about being investigated. It's very, very important. It's of a crucial importance for my father to understand that you guys are scum, filth, dung. You who lied to him, who sweet-talked to him, you who made him go, not I, and make him go inside of the home for elderly people, who followed you blindly inside of his grave, literally, like a good dog. It's very important for him to acknowledge that you scum that go to him, all of your presence is a presence of evil. And what you did to him, you even stabbed him inside of the stomach with a feeding tube, after making him so sick that he no longer would want to even eat food. You are truly ultimate scum. I never heard for anything like this, as disgusting as you are, and you scum actually preach about the disinformation. Unheard of. We gotta take a date and time. There you go. Some ladies did complain to me during MK Ultra about my being loud. I apologize for that. I'm loud because I substitute with the intellect, my loudness. And then on the other hand, Mark Rutte was making fun of Donald Trump the other day for using the F word. And he talked about something daddy and F and so on and so forth. Well, the thing about it is that lahko je sanjati za polno ritjo. It's not difficult to dream with a full ass. You can respect the proper etiquette, you can behave civilized, you can do all that kind of stuff you can do. You can even make fun of the people that use F word. But you know what? Honestly, I think that tells a lot about you. Also, I'm going to say to Donald Trump and to Rutte and to every one of you, you're up to no good. You have no right to criticize somebody like myself, who does, however, have the right to use the F word and accent and make people understand about what goes on. Because this isn't about the disinformation news. I did reported these crimes to Federal Bureau Investigation. I reported including Director of FBI, all the directors, including the last one, Kash Patel, CIA directors. I reported this inquiry about his assistance to Committee Against Torture and Inhumane Degradation, etc. European Committee. Ask him about how to complain against them since they were involved in this. I did complain to International Criminal Court. I complained to United Nations, the European Union Commissioner, to U.S. Justice Department of State, Civil Rights Division. I did. So this is very credible website. This website is supported by the physical proof, by the evidence. Undeniable. My revealing true identities of the people involved in this crime, as well as about locations which I have managed to identify as far as the presence and so on and so forth. Don't fucking talk to me. Don't you fucking dare to talk to me about some kind of disinformation which Nataša Pirc Musar, now president, was actually using. She was using intimidation through the disinformation during MK Ultra and was totally knowledgeable about my case. She studied my case. Having the ability to compare me with a liar, with a disinformant, she called me during MK Ultra, basically. This is bullshit. This is not a presidency. I wouldn't say that this is not legitimate. It's a crime, the most severe crime. It's a torture. It's a psychological, physical, illegal, criminal. You're no president. You know, my fucking president. You're no president. You're something else. And it's my duty, therefore, to point out to the people of the world the scum I'm dealing with. Very, very important. Very, very important to point out to the world about how the Slovenian nation attempted to resolve this case, how they wanted to do this stuff. It's all about the disinformation. That's what she's talking about. She's all about the disinformation. Look, thank you very much for watching this video. This was covered for July 10 and July 13. I was also yesterday at the Father at July 14 Briefly, I saw the father with a lot of saliva running out of his mouth. My mother left this morning to the father, crazy as she is, at 6:40, something like this. She left to the father during the rain. It was raining outside. Instead of leaving with me, departing to the father at 7:30, she does it her way. She has her rules. She does it the way she wants. She's doing it. She doesn't want to maintain the car. She's against maintaining the car. However, I took the initiative and I did replace the oil filter.
So, ladies and gentlemen, this
is what I pulled out of the car. This was the oil filter. This is how filthy this stuff was.
One that needs to be.
This is the oil filter.
Replaced.
This is a new one. And this is the old air filter, not oil filter, but air filter. So here you can compare the air filter that was not replaced inside of this car. It appears to me for no less since my father purchased the car 15 years ago. My mother simply does not want to maintain the car. This is what I purchased. I also purchased the oil, etc., etc. The mechanic that maintains the car, he figured out he's going to collect more money through what with police have instructed me to do the wrong way replacement of the air filter. He was playing with a clamp and with they tutored me to remove the clamp through the air hose, which is the most frequent mistake people do, and procalculated that replacement of that part would be more expensive, the biggest punishment for me, than even the work he would do on the car, such as oil exchange replacement, air filter replacement, oil filter service in the car. So yeah, this is basically with the police. This is how the police does. And so don't fucking talk to me about the Slovenian police. When you're a Slovenian police officers, you step in front of me, you got to understand one thing. Number one thing, you are a criminal. That's one thing. And it doesn't matter who you are, how you look, what you are, where you're coming from, Slovenia. Number one thing, remember, the uniform, the badge that you have, classifies you in my book as a criminal. You stop in front of me, it's a criminal that stops in front of me. So naturally, in exactly the same fashion, exactly the same way you're going to treat me is I'm going to treat you. Naturally, I will try to learn as much as I can about you the same way as you would learn from the criminal. This is just as simple as this. You step in front of me and you're going to be dealing with a police officer. That's all there is to it. This is how I see you. This is what you are. You can say I don't have any kind of special credentials. No, I do not, but I do have a brain. And that brain allows me to obtain information I want. If you will not identify yourself, if you will not disclose about who you are, whatever you are up to, this is up to you. This is your choice, and this is your Slovenia gives you the right to act this way. But that's not going to save you from prosecution, because audio and video is going to go to the internet. The collection is only going to increase. There is no way of stopping here, and before you know, trust me, I will have international authorities on your tail also inside of that police station, not only inside of the home for elderly people. Thanks for watching this video. Till next time. What a stupid way that would be to demonstrate the air filter. That's really not the way to close the video. And since it is here,
okay,
it's available for you to
Ladies
see it.
This is the contrast of the two filters. One that needs to be
At 03 o'clock in the morning, I went to change the stuff because my mama is so angry, screaming at me. Anything I do, I'm not allowed to do. So it was at 3 o'clock in the middle of the night that I went down and I started to do the service on the car. So I couldn't take it anymore.
replaced.
Destroyed the fucking car with this. This is an air filter that you see right there.
The new one. So
I think the contrast is clear. I think that the difference can be seen.
Clearly, right? Clearly was more than time to have this stuff replaced, right?
Now let me
Well,
change the camera.
this is the mechanic the Slovenian police selected for my father. Like I said, my father did not own the car, he did not own the house.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Everything was
of the two filters.
in a possession of the police. It was, my father was nothing other than a hostage of the police. They were using against me, and they figure out they're going to use me against the father. And this is not the way it is.
So
I made myself clear today.
the contrast.
My father is not left behind, and my father is not going to be left behind.
I will change. Now you can see the time and date, everything. That's why I'm using this. Now let me change the camera
So you can see this shit, you can see it yourself.
What that looks like. There's a shit software.
When you actually have to hide yourself to do the stuff, the normal stuff, and you are called insane, mental patient, etc., etc.